Good afternoon. Welcome to Gulfstream Park West, and welcome to the Gulfstream Park West Handicapping Show. Ron Nicoletti along with Acacia Courtney. She's already got me laughing here today. We had some heavy showers overnight, so we're going to start the day with a sloppy main track. And no turf racing this afternoon, so we have 10 races on tap, and should be a fun day. I mean, the race is pretty much held together, so it should run well.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun already. Bright and sunny right now, actually, so hopefully that'll dry out the track a little bit. But as Ron said, off of the turf today. Main track currently listed as sloppy, but 10 races on the card today. Rainbow Six starting anew. Lots of good stuff on tap.
Yeah, they hit the Rainbow Six yesterday. Someone luckily got $38,000 plus, and that's only a 20-cent wager. Let's run through the wagering menu today. We started off with the first of two pick fives in the afternoon. You know, we do have rolling super high fives, but it has to have 7 or more runners in the field, so it will kick off in race number 3 today.
Yes, but race number 1 will start the early pick 5. I'll have a ticket for you there. And then the Rainbow Six today starts in race number 5. As you mentioned, it was hit yesterday, so starting fresh this afternoon.
Yeah, $38,000, and they've been trying to hit it the last couple of days, and they finally got it with the 9-horse in the last race yesterday. And then we have our final pick 5 in the afternoon with the last 5 races on the card, in case you also will have a ticket there. The main track today, just went and took a picture of it a couple of minutes ago and tweeted it out. It's sealed. It's got a little more standing water on it, but as you mentioned, a sunny day right now, so it should improve as the afternoon goes on.
Yeah, it looks like it. And you see, I guess you have to kind of re-handicap everything if you handicapped for the turf, but I'll try and give you some useful information today.
Yeah, the first race today, 5 furlongs, originally scheduled for the turf to be run on the main track. These are claimers 3 and up, non-winners of 3 races in life or a race since April 16th. $8,000, scratch the 4, scratch the number 5. Boy, and it sure looks like number 7, Jive Daddy, jumps off the page here with this move to the sloppy main track.
Absolutely. Well, we'll give you a look at my early pick 5 ticket, and the number 7, Jive Daddy, was one that I used here. Also included the number 2, Time Out of Mind, because I didn't use him last time and he got the win, so wasn't going to let him burn me again. $36 for me. I couldn't find a single in this early part of the card. I did have a single before the scratches. Ended up that I had to go a little bit deeper in some of the later races, but still kept it affordable.
Yeah, and I think you got the logical 2 to open it up, and that number 7, Jive Daddy, I was alluding to, is wheeling back after highlighting its versatility when he defeated those 2 lifetime competition. That was a race move from the turf to 5 furlongs on the sloppy main track, so it looks like it's going to be deja vu all over again if he gets the job done, and that is the number 7, Jive Daddy.
And he also finished ahead of next out winner Awesome Trom, and that was the 2nd consecutive victory for Jive Daddy. Had an impressive win on the turf, and then as you mentioned, that sealed sloppy track was no match for Jive Daddy. He's 2-1 on the board right now, very early in the wagering. I imagine just throughout he's going to get pounded in the betting there.
Yeah, and then the horse you used, Time Out of Mind, will try and make it 2 in a row. He stalked early last time out. He drew clear late to notch his 2 lifetime condition at the distance. You know, he's run well in the past in the slop against similar back in June, so there's reason to believe he can run well again here today.
Well, 2 back, he finished 5th behind Jive Daddy. Actually bumped up to 4th through a disqualification, beaten about 7 lengths that day. Didn't show the same kind of early speed that he normally does on the turf. Normally he's out front and trying to maintain that early speed, but I thought it was a pretty respectable race, and as you mentioned, had a couple of sloppy races earlier on. Did have a 3rd back in June, so maybe he's going to be able to run to that sort of form again. Jive Daddy has some speed too. Maybe Time Out of Mind sits just behind. They go 1-2.
Yeah, and you went with the Street Rage in 3rd.
I did. This one, it has been running on the dirt, actually, just a couple of turf races, and now moving back over to staying on the dirt. Actually finished 4th last time out when having to steady a little bit.
Well, let's go to race number 2 this afternoon, and this is a 1-mile starter optional claimer, fillies advanced 3 and up, which have started for a claiming price of $12,500 or less, or the claiming price they can run to of $12,500. And we do have a scratch in here of number 3, Diana's Comprise, so we'll be dealing with a 5-horse field, and certainly looks like number 4, Concealed with a Kiss, a 5-time winner at this distance, will be the one to beat in here.
And also has a very good record here at Gulfstream Park West. 3 races, 2 wins, and a 3rd, so 100% in the money. Horse for course a little bit in this field, if you will, and has some speed too. And this one comes out of Stakes Company. Welby in last time out in the Added Elegance, won against 12,000 optional claimers. two back as the heavy favorite that day, and won by 7.5 lengths in that performance.
Yeah, she looks like the class of the field in there, but I know we both used the number 2 Eskin Lady in second.
Well, this one has some speed too. I actually want to go back and show her last race on September 1st. I think she's a pretty solid runner. She's trying to make it 3 wins in a row. You see, she's the number 4 there that day. She was up front, and she was, you know, not alone throughout the entire race. And I think that that's going to be the case in here. She was up front with Luna Lunita that day ahead of the rest of the field. A pretty fast half. They went 23-3 for the opening quarter. You see 45-2 for the half, and she manages to pull away. And I think that she is a pretty solid runner in this field here. Manages to pull away and win there by 3/4 of a length. And I think that she is going to be one to give a little bit of a press to Concealed with a Kiss.
Yeah, you know, stretching out to this. Well, it's not really stretching out, but it's a 2-turn mile this afternoon. Lane Leslie will be in the saddle. I went to the inside, and so did you, with Emma Luna, who's returning to Gulfstream Park West. Has had 9 races. He had no wins, but has hit the board in 3 of those 9 races after responding to a drop in competition with a really rousing $10,000 starter allowance victory, going to 1-turn mile across town at Gulfstream Park. 3 for 4 in the money on the wet track. So the 4 starts, 2 seconds, and a third.
And also a 5-time winner at this distance. Pretty good record at the mile.
Well, and that is where we start our first of 2 pick 4s on the afternoon. Now, race number 3 was originally scheduled for 5 furlongs on the turf, now to be run on the main track. These are claimers, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, non-winners of 2 races in life. $8,000 the claiming level. Scratch the 1, Exchange Identity, which was going to be the big favorite in there, and scratch number 2, Mick Big Money. And I went with the number 3 horse in here, and I changed my selections around a little bit. I went with Star Miley. This one is moving to a sloppy main track. Set the pace last time out. Got to beat ahead versus similar on the turf. She's run well. She's had the 3rd on the wet track. This is strictly a speed angle for me. I went and put this one on top because I thought maybe she can control the pace. I'm interested to see how the track's going to play this afternoon. If it favors speed, if it favors closes, and by race number 3, we should have a little bit of an idea.
I think so too, and that's going to be the key. I passed on this horse. I really didn't like her earlier dirt races. Yeah. She does have that 3rd on a wet track, yes, but the last time that she ran on a wet track that you see in recent past performances was back in June in the mud at Parks, and she was beaten double-digit lengths that day. So I think that, yes, she's got the speed. If she transfers that over to the dirt here today, then she's going to be tough. But I landed on the number 5, Exclusively Dixie, who does often show some early interest. Was up front just towards the start of the race last time out, and then ended up fading. That was 5 furlongs on the turf. Does have some backlash though. Did break her maiden impressively, showing speed and wiring the field back in June at 5.5 furlongs. So if she's able to go back to that kind of performance in here, that might be a solid one for her.
Yeah, you know, and the Ralph Zadie, the trainer, Lane Lizzie, on the so getting light, the 5-pound apprentice allowance. I got it on the ticket, just not on top. And we both used the number 4 in here, Sweet Cookie, who's dropping a notch on the claiming scale this afternoon.
Finished 3rd last time out with a maiden win, 2 back. That was last time against 10,000 non-winners of 2.
You know, the horse has never been on a wet track, but the problem I had, and it's playing devil's advocate here, is 4 starts on the fast main track, never hit the board. So a little bit of a shaky call there. Thus putting the 3 on, for me, putting Star Miley on top, excuse me, over Sweet Cookie, and I closed it out, and so did you with Talitha Kum.
Well, this one's coming off being beaten just a neck last time out. Pretty solid in the money finisher. See if she can do that on the main track. And
another theme here that's going to be cursing throughout the afternoon is never been on a wet track. So we'll see how these horses do this afternoon. Race number 4 this afternoon, 1 mile and 70 yards. These are claimers, 3-year-olds, and up with $6,250. 6 runners in the field, and boy, these horses knock heads with each other, and they're always so hard to separate. Both you and I went with the number 1 Toes Gray Cat. 6 for 9 in the money on this track. 9 races, 3 wins, a 2nd and 2/3.
A 6-time winner at this distance, this 9-year-old gelding. I called him once the king of the 6250 claimer levels, because he certainly does seem to be that. Want to go back and show a race. It's actually 2 back for Toes Gray Cat. This was on September 17th. He knocked head with the number 4 here, Chiseled. Toes Gray Cat was the 2 that day. Chiseled was the 3. He pulls away. It looks like Chiseled is going to be in a good spot to win. Toes Gray Cat, he's easy to spot. He's almost wide quite aptly named, comes on the outside. As you said, just such a hard-knocking type. He ends up passing by the field. You see the jockey on Chiseled, who was Lane Luzzy that day, looks back. He sees Toes Gray Cat coming, and he's like, oh no, I better start to really ride this horse even harder, because that 9-year-old keeps rolling on. He ends up winning by 3/4 of a length. Finishes third next time out, but he's just such a solid runner.
Solid runner. He's going to break from the inside this afternoon. I split that. The horse you were also mentioning, Chisel, in there with the 5. His time is now to try and make it 2 in a row after going up and setting the pace, holding on gamely to defeat who? Toes Gray Cat at odds of 14-1 last time out. Phil Combest is the trainer. Pedro Monterey Jr. in the saddle. So, I mean, the point we're trying to make here is these horses take chances beating each other, along with, like, Chisel, too.
Right. And Chiseled is one you have to use. And the number 2, Old Time Sake, is dropping in class here today. And he's one that's knocked heads with these few, I think, too.
Well, this is race number 4, so we'll take a short break. When we come back, I'll show you my Rainbow Six ticket. So the fun continues here at Gulfstream Park West.
Next January, 12 horses, $1 million buy-in for a $12 million purse. It is the world's richest race. It is the Pegasus World Cup.
Welcome back to the Gulfstream Park West Handicapping Show. Ron and Acacia here, and the 5th race this afternoon was originally scheduled for 1 mile and 1/16 on the turf to be run at the same distance on the main track. These are claimers, 2-year-olds, $25,000. Scratched the 1, Cosentino, also scratched the number 5, Ohio. 2 of the major players, if this one would have been on the turf. As I mentioned, the Rainbow Six is starting anew today. They hit it yesterday for $38,000. So let's show you my Rainbow Six ticket this afternoon, and you will see I went 4 deep in here, 3, 4, 8, and number 9. I'm singling the number 7 horse, Your Dreams Are Mine, in the next race, then 2, 3, 3, and 3, and just wanted to keep my ticket affordable today, so I singled that horse in race number 6. As I mentioned, Your Dreams Are Mine, so we'll see how this works out. I'm interested to see how you worked out this race after the move from the turf to the main track.
Well, it looks like we landed on the same horse on top, and that's the number 8, Sir Sebastian, who does have a pretty solid race on a sloppy track, and that's something that nobody else in this field does have, so I think that gives him a little bit of an edge here. 2 back, he ended up finishing just 3 lengths behind the leader, going 5.5 on the slop. Again, that was his first 2 races were on the dirt, dropped from maiden special weight into the 25 maiden claiming level that day, and again, just beaten by 3 lengths. A really solid race on the turf last time before being disqualified, but I think he's got a little bit of an edge on that wet track.
Yeah, and for all the reasons you mentioned there, Marcial Oliveira, he's got Jesus Rios in the saddle. Is the only one, as you mentioned, that shows some kind of ability on that wet track in here. I went with the 3, Cantomar in second, is dropping to the $25,000 level on the main track. I mean, it was a useful career debut, going 7.5 furlongs on the turf. The trainer is Antonio Sano. He's having a bang-up meeting thus far, and he got the horse gets a vote of confidence. Edgar Zayas, riding his horse back, dropping down to 25. They tried maiden special on the turf. It looks like this horse can wake up in this particular spot. Got to prove himself on the dirt, or actually on a main track with some moisture in it.
Well, I agree with you there. He drifted a bit in that debut race on the turf, and looks like he's going to be able to improve off of that performance on either surface, training right here at Gulfstream Park West. Also use the number 4, Royal Flame, who's a first-time starter for David Fox, and this one has a pretty steady some distance works coming into the debut.
Yeah, David Falk's real good with his first-time starters. He's always over 24%. So with all the changes in this race, a first-time starter might be the way to go, especially when we have connections that really know how to get horses to win at first ask. And did go 4 deep, also threw the number 9 in there, Bodie Dog, coming out of a key race, and wasn't very sure, so that's why I went so deep in that first leg of the Rainbow Six. We're going to go to race number 5 this afternoon. Excuse me, race number 6 this afternoon. This is a 1-mile allowance optional claimer, 3-year-olds and up, or they could run for that optional claiming price of $62,500. Scratch the number 6 in here, and that is Fearless Dragon. And as you saw before a little while ago, I had my single in this race, and let's talk about your late pick 5 ticket, see how you did.
Well, I definitely used the number 7, Your Dreams Are Mine. I actually went 3 deep in here. You know I don't like to be kicked out in the first leg. My single actually comes in the last race today. Just trying to, like you said, keep it pretty affordable when I felt I had to go deeper in some of the other races, especially the ones taken off the turf, a little bit tough to handicap. That single for me in the last is the number 5, Grey Dude, a first-time starter for Ralph Nix.
Well, you know, number 7, Your Dreams Are Mine, is a consistent son of Mr. Sagaguchi, stretching out to miles, had 9 races, 2 wins, 3 seconds in the third after its recent 2-race win streak ended when he was beating the neck as the 4-5 going 7 furlongs. I want to go back a couple of starts back and show you his performance, top of the stretch to the wire, and I just thought it was a real good performance. It was in the groom stick, and he was there was a really quick cast here. You see it up there, 44.87. He's going to come and he's going to really close on the strong first half and win this race. And at the particular point when he turned for home, you didn't know if he would get there, and he just sort of, to lack of a better word, explodes through the stretch and gets the job done in there. And I just think he classes up perfectly in this spot.
He's definitely the class. Multiple stakes winner in here. He does have a win on a wet track as well. He is a little bit pace dependent there as far as being a closer. I think that there might be enough speed in here, especially with the track being a little bit sloppy. And one horse that I do think will go out to the front is the number 4, Piloting, who you used in second. I used the number 5, Tenango, who also showed some speed and pulled away last time.
Yeah, he posted that 93 buyer figure when defeating 25 optional claimers, going 7/8 of a mile. A horse that, is he going to bounce? But certainly when you get up there in the 90s, you got to give these horses a second look. So I think we have the logical 3 on our ticket right there. And I went with the single, and I'm just happy that in case she doesn't even use my singles usually, so that maybe is a good sign this afternoon. So race number 7, 1 mile. It was originally scheduled for the turf to be run at that same distance on the main track. Claimers, fillies and mares, non-winners of 2 in life or 3-year-olds. The claiming level is $30,000 down to $25,000. Some scratches to let you know about the number 2 Bull Empress, number 6 High Heeled. My horse, 8, Andrea's Reward, and number 9, Scats Empire. Boy, I was waiting to see her run today. She had an excuse last time out, but we'll wait for another day. I went with the 1 horse in here, Golden Delicious, who won a restricted turf race at Gulfstream back in February, was third in the $75,000 optional claimer during April. Now plunges to the $30,000 level on the for the local return for trainer Todd Pletcher. The obvious question, why the drop? I'm not as concerned about the surface as I am as the drop.
She does actually have a win on and off track as well. It was listed as fast that day, but it was a race taken off the turf. That was back in January. I think she's dropping now, and she also hasn't run in 6 months. That's my biggest thing with not being able to put her on top. She's very nicely bred, a $150,000 daughter of Harlan's Holiday. The Dam was a multiple stakes winner as well, and the Dam was a 5-time dirt sprint winner. So the surface, I agree with you, is not going to be the issue here. It's the fact that she's dropping. We mentioned this yesterday, seen much from Todd Pletcher's barn down in South Florida just as of yet. And this one, yes, she's a stakes winner, but again, she hasn't raced in 6 months.
Yeah, so, I mean, a logical choice. It's going to burn some chalk, probably. I think you got to use it on the ticket. I couldn't even think of single in this horse in that race for all the reasons you just mentioned. You did put the number 5, Tearless, on top of one back-to-back turf races against this caliber competition, now dropping back and going to the dirt.
Yep, this one is dropping in class as well. Stepped up last time, might have been a bit too tough for her in there after 3 wins in a row. Very impressive wins over the turf and around at this level. I thought that she was going to be a really tough foe if this one was going to be on the turf. I still left her on top, though not quite as sure. Her first 2 races in her career were on the dirt, though they were in maiden special. special and $35,000 maiden levels. In her first maiden claiming one, she did actually finish fourth. It was a distant fourth at that, but that was her first time with Lasix. Maybe she's able to show more speed today, carry that over from the turf, and get the job done.
Yeah, and, you know, she is a daughter of insummation, sort of bred to handle the off track, but not one of those that jumps off the page at you. So thus I put it down to the second spot and kept the Golden Delicious on top. Now I used the 4 and third, and that's Murray's Girl, and I'll tell you, this one is moving to the main track after setting the pace and finish a strong second against Similar. That was going a mile on the turf last time out. It's another one of my speed plays today, and I'm just throwing this horse on the ticket, thinking maybe goes out there, especially if the track is favoring speed, which we will know certainly by race number 7. Just a horse I'm going to throw on the ticket. I don't know what is in the morning line. I think it was 8 to 1 or something like that. So just threw it on there. Now you did go with my insider, but you have the 3 in second, a horse I did not use.
Well, this one's trying the main track for the first time and was beaten just about 3 lengths last time out when being bumped at the start. Didn't really wasn't able to fully recover from being bumped there. That was with Eddie Kesher in the saddle. Luca Panici's going to climb aboard, who rode her to a victory 2 back. Again, she's trying the main track for the first time, so of course that's going to be a question. She's a 3-year-old by general quarters, and I think that she might be able to be a little bit of a threat in here as far as closing.
Yeah, and once again, David Fawkes, good connections. Luca Panici, what a summer he's been having, so lots of things to like there. But again, once again, we said that common theme is a lot of horses have never even tried the dirt, never mind a sloppy main track, so we'll see how it is. And as we want to mention again, sun's out right now, so no in South Florida, and if the sun really comes out, this track will be changing throughout the afternoon, getting better and better. Right. So we'll see how that works out. Now, race number 8 this afternoon is a 6-furlong maiden special weight event for 2-year-old fillies, and we do have a scratch in here of number 4, Adios Cat, and you went with the number 2 horse on top of your ticket, and that is La Miros.
La Vie Ross, I think is how you say it. Well, this one from the barn of Gilberto Zerpa, who we've certainly seen make a splash this summer with some 2-year-olds. Has a really Florida star, Basha, that's been running pretty well. But she's a 2-year-old filly by Medaglia d'Oro, just pretty strong across the board as a sire. It's about 16% with 2-year-olds. This one's been working very nicely at Gulfstream Park West as well, which was something that I really liked. Again, a first-time starter. Edgar Atzayas going to be in the saddle.
Well, we were just talking about Todd Pletcher in the previous race, and now we got 2 horses in this race. Number 6, Blame It on Dixie, is a $385,000 daughter of Blame, debuting for Mr. Pletcher with a trio of Palm Beach Downs workout showing in preparation for this assignment. I want to show you a stat on Todd Pletcher, and this goes not only for Blame It on Dixie, also for the 3 Sand Shark over the last 5 years. 2-year-old fillies, first-time starters under maiden special weight conditions on the dirt. He is 40 for 128, 31% win average. That's amazing. 63% in the money. Of course, only that $1.73 return of investment, because if you see Todd Pletcher's name, you know, a lot of people are going to bet him automatically, but he does an excellent job, especially with these young fillies under these maiden special weight conditions. So one of the things we wanted to throw out there and show you, and that is Blame It on the Dixie, and of course, Sand Shark. Yeah,
to be over 30% in the win column is pretty huge there. And I used both of those horses on my ticket as well as the number 7 Procuradora, $100,000 daughter of Bodemeister. It's a half to grade 2 Nashua winner Vexor. This one ran against state-bred maiden special weight types in her debut to finish 3rd. She was going head-to-head with the second-place finisher, Where's Kate, that day, and just kind of set up for a closer.
Yeah, and ridden today by MSC El Jaramillo and trained by Bruno de Sori. So, I mean, we have the same 4 horses on the ticket. It's just a matter of Pletcher's going to win it or some other first-time starter is going to win it this afternoon. And, you know, if the statistics, thus putting Pletcher on top with those 2-year-old fillies. Race number 9 this afternoon, 7 furlongs on the main track. This was scheduled for 7.5 furlongs on the turf. Now reverts to a sprint distance on the main track. These are maiden claimers, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, $10,000. Scratch the 7 Toother Bell. Scratch the 11 Joyful Spirit, 13 Mexicana, and 14 Spunzig. And note that number 15 and number 16 will get in and run this afternoon.
Yeah, they will. And I actually ended up with the number 16, Miss BV RBI on top in here. Does have a pretty solid third place finish on the dirt at Tampa. Earlier on in her career, she's 0 for 10. She's been knocking on the door in quite a few of those turf races in the past. Maybe just a switch of surface here.
Yeah, and the number 2 motions first, a solid second against this level of competition on the dirt. 2 starts back, returns after making the bid, finishing 5th in a $20,000 turf event, going a mile. Fits perfectly at this level. Just look at that performance 2 back against $10,000 types. Looks like this won the lottery prize with the move to the main track this afternoon. So motions first on my ticket. I used the number 8 in second, Ruby Line, cutting back to 7 furlongs on the main track after dueling throughout and finishing second against similar going a mile. She really benefits the move to turn back to 7/8 of a mile. I think she's going to be part of the pace this afternoon. She's run well against a $10,000 type. So the turn back to 7/8 through this one on the ticket. Don't know where it'll end up on the morning line. 20-1 it starts. I don't think this horse will be 20-1.
No, I don't think so either. And all of her starts been dirt. She, as you said, she was going to try the turf for the first time. She showed such a big improvement last time, but I wonder if it was like a little bit of a fluke after such disappointing races prior to that. I use the number 12 Mini Channel, who again is going to be trying the dirt for the first time in here. They added the blinkers last time, taking them right back off today, and she ran a pretty respectable 5th there. She's got some speed, so kind of what you were saying of trying to find some pace in here. I thought that she might be it.
Well, let's go to race number 10 this afternoon. 6 furlongs maiden claiming 2-year-olds, $25,000. The morning line favorite in here is the number 5, Gray Dude. And if memory serves me right, I think this is the horse you had singled on your late pick 5.
Yes, hopefully get through all the other legs of the late pick 5 and make it to the last one here. The number 5, Gray Dude, is a first-time starter for Ralph Nix. Tyler Gaffalione going to be in the saddle. Lots of things to like just based on connections. A good 3 furlong work and 36 flat coming in today. And a 2-year-old gelding by First Dude. Want to give a sire stat on First Dude. In the past 5 years with 2-year-olds in dirt sprints, 17 for 116, a pretty strong 15% win average in there. So looks like this one's going to be ready to roll.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, with all the unknowns in here, this one, is working well and can run well in there. I went with the number 9 horse in second, and that's Rosebud's High. And this one is stretching out to 3/4 of a mile today. After encountering some traffic problems at the 8th pole when finishing 5th, it was going 5.5. Jessica Campitelli is the trainer. Eddie Castro is named to ride this horse. I just thought a little bit of trouble last time out against this level of competition. I see you have the 9 on your ticket too.
I do, and that last race was when moving back over to the dirt after trying the turf and coming off of a roughly 3-month layoff. So now 3rd off the layoff. Hopefully he gets out a little bit sharper today. Seems to have some trouble either getting stuck in traffic or not getting easily out of the gate. I used the number 4, the Great Ludini, in 3rd in here. This one another first-time starter for David Fox at Juan Leyva in the saddle.
Yeah, and I went with the one we got our last 2 flip-flop, all hands up, dropping to the 25. After showing some early speed and fading against maiden special weight competition. So the drop in there, MCL Jaramillo will be handling the inside post this afternoon. So that's how we see this Sunday card. As of right now, it is absolutely beautiful here. We had some rain overnight, so we're starting the day with a sloppy main track. All turf races have been taken off the turf today.
Yeah, keep your eyes on those track conditions throughout the day. Good luck with all of your wagers.
What do I love about horse racing?